998BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Police Report Show. The Police Report Show was created to keep the public informed and to build and maintain a positive relationship with the community. WBIS LP 106.9 FM, Winterville, Ayden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina. Outside the listening area, tune in on WBISAwesomeRadio.org.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Police Report First Responders Show. I would like to first do an audio check to introduce our guests because I want to make sure they can hear us and we can hear them. And I believe both of our guests, I see on the screen that their mics are muted, and I think they might need to unmute their mics. If you can unmute your mic, sir. Mohammed and Mohammed. Sergeant Darnell, can you hear?
There you go.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you too, Mohammed. Can you hear me,
All right.
Mohammed? Great.
Can you hear me?
This is the Police Report First Responders Show. Joining us, as you know, is our very, very special guest and a wonderful man, Sergeant Darnell of the Pitt County Sheriff's Office, and Muhammad Enab, who's going to be doing cybersecurity. So first, we're going to go to Sergeant Darnell, and then when we go to Muhammad, there's one specific thing I want to ask him about. This Cisco VPN router flaw. I let attackers execute remote code because there's some variations that I saw on there. But I want to get to Sergeant Darnell first for his updates with the Sheriff's Office, and in particular, if he could discuss with us law enforcement officers constantly training to strengthen their mental. I think they mentioned something about their emotional well-being. Training never ends, and then what was it? I had it marked on it. I can't find it. De-escalation, if that's right, Sarge.
Yeah. So,
I first saw this on WNCT, but they always have a disclaimer not to rebroadcast. So I would like to get information directly from Sergeant Darnell. Sarge.
thank you, my friend. It's good to see you guys. The place that my heart leads me to begin, I'd taken some notes and tried to send them to you earlier. Then my computer crashed. So you never got it, and I can't recover it at this point. So I'll just go from the heart that, there's always bad stuff happening. And especially in a field like law enforcement, we see so much misery. And, there's a difference going from a murder to somebody who has their car broken into. Big differences on the scale of severity. But no matter whether you're the family member of somebody who was killed or you just had your car, a $20 bill taken from your car in your driveway, you're a victim. And it's a tough space to be in. We see and deal with a lot of people in tough spaces in their lives. Domestics, disputes of all kinds going around. And it's tough. It's heartbreaking at times. The place I want to begin today is by saying I've seen so much ugliness since our last show, not necessarily in the kind of calls we run, but just going through social media, people being mean, just mean to each other. And it's kind of disheartening. We try our best to do our jobs well and to serve well. And I just, that's kind of disheartening. I hope we can relax a little bit more as a people and be kind to each other. And I just want to say I'm thankful for you guys. It's always a good day for me when I get to come on here and chat about things that matter to people. And I appreciate you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying what you said. Hopefully you can recover. your drive, computer, and you send the email to me. And for some reason, I got a little echo. But I found the spot what I was looking for is at the bottom of the document that I created. It said they said they have mandatory in-service training every year with topics like wellness and de-escalation of situations. And I think
Right.
that's so very important, learning to deal with and de-escalating situations, particularly violent situations. Is that correct,
Right.
Sarge?
That's correct. And you know, this came out during an interview the other day. They wanted to talk about us being ready for mental health situations, as far as responders and as human beings. And we start day one of the academy being prepared to be ready to de-escalate situations, and that's a skill that we use every day on the job. And you don't just learn it in the basic school and never have to revisit that. It's something that is constantly brought up through our annual education, things like de-escalation, things like dealing with people with special needs, dealing with our own emotional wellness, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our families. There tends to be a high rate of divorce in a population among the first responders. And it's important that we take care of ourselves as we take care of others. And that's constantly revisited to keep us on the right path. I know, Dr. Johnson, you've spoken in a lot of CIT trainings, and that's a training that we send all of our deputies through. That's a great educational opportunity to think outside the box, think about the holistic needs of people and how best to meet them. And it's important for us to know going in that the answer isn't always, you're a bad guy, here's a label, let's go to jail. That you're human and you have needs, and jail may not be what you need and what the community needs. And we will look at what's going on with you and maybe some better ways to meet those needs.
That's right, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Sarge, because like you said, I do speak at a lot of the CIT events with Brian Lasser, the director of the CIT program at Petroleum. And a lot of times, particularly at Pitt Community College when I go to speak, there's always local law enforcement officers, Winterville, Greenville, Sheriff's Office, different things like that. It's local, and I'm only 5 minutes around from my house. But one of the things I try to leave the officers with at the end of my speaking, because as soon as my speaking engagement ends, they will graduate, receive their certificates and their pins for the uniform. And I say, well, what I want you to keep in mind is this. Not only are you a first responder, you are a first intervener. So you have the credentials now to go out, help you do your job a little bit better, to intervene in the situation.
Absolutely. And that may be coming up with resources for them. That may just be sitting down for a few minutes and listening to them, give them the opportunity to vent and know that somebody actually cares. And I saw this just the other day. I don't routinely go on calls, but if I'm near one, I'll go so they get the quickest help possible. And I saw this very thing. Two of us were there. It was a mental health situation. By the time we got done, the family was given a card for Trillium and their services and how to contact them. We got done, and he just went on and on. He said, "You actually care. I've never dealt with this with law enforcement before, that you didn't just come out, handle it, and leave." And we established that bond there. That's gonna really help him and his family, I hope, in the long run.
Yeah, and Sarge, now, I don't know, I can't even begin to count the number of times I have spoken at TCIT events, but I just thought about something out of the deputies that I've encountered. And, sometimes they're in uniform, sometimes in their civilian attire. So I don't know who might be just a deputy or having an additional responsibility, and that's a school resource officer. 'Cause I know that would be important for the school resource officers as well. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. School resource officers, they encounter all kinds of situations from the troublemaker youth in the school to the people who just need someone to look up to the kid who comes to school and hasn't had a bath in days, no clean clothes, no food, um, and getting attention how they can get it sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, and our SROs, it's a very special breed of officer that can be an SRO.
Yeah.
And they're mentors. They tend to link in a lot of resources. I'm still in touch with a lot of the youth I served as an SRO years ago. They're married with kids now, but they're still a part of my world and always will be. And I can't tell you their stories, but some of them will truly just break your heart. Uh,
Yeah. And this is one reason why my oldest granddaughter, who will be turning 13 in October, and she's now attending junior high school. And this is one reason why I point out to her, and she knows how I am, because she knows all the things I used to do. I said, Jayla, I know you're in junior high school now, but I know there's a lot of things that go on in school. So what I want you to remember is if you see something or hear something, say something to somebody.
right.
I don't necessarily think who it might be, but if you hear something, you say something. I don't care if you have to call me, and I will come to the school and help you out to get to the right person. But I want you to say something to somebody.
That's very important. That certainly made a big difference here last year. I saw several cases where students made the right call and stepped up, either mentioned to their parents or to the SRO or pulled a teacher to the side and said, "Here's something you need to know right now to intervene." And
And I think
and
that's
it made a big
important.
difference.
We have to get more of our school age children to start doing those things. We have
Right.
7.5 minutes of this particular segment. This is our first 20-minute segment. Then we'll be back with a 10-minute, followed with another 20-minute, and that will conclude the broadcast. So I would like to give Muhammad the opportunity to jump in for about seven, 7 or 6 minutes. Muhammad,
You can hear me, right?
yes, sir.
All right. I'll be talking about Cisco VPN routers flaw-led to attackers. You see, recently there's been disclosed of RV3340 and RV345 dual WAN gigabit VPN routers have been significant flaw in the upload load module. This flaw could allow a remote authenticated attackers to run ability codes on a impacted device. With a CVSS base score of 6.5, this medium severity vulnerability is tracked as CVE 2024-2416. It stems from insufficient boundary check when processing specified HTTP requests. An attacker could exploit this vulnerability by sending crafted HTTP requests to an infected device. At least that's what I hear about Cisco. If the exploit is successful, the attacker might be able to run the codes as a root to user on the device underling discovered this vulnerability. Operating system Jacob Baines of Volcheck has discovered this vulnerability, and those Cisco small business routers firmware release is 1.0.03.24 or later suspectable to this vulnerability as the time of publication.
Now, Muhammad, one thing that caught my attention was where it says It stems from insufficient boundary checks when processing specified HTTP requests. And that's the part that caught my attention because the HTTP
It's
is
for the
without,
healthcare.
because we all know if you access a website and that S is not a part of the HTTP, that means that that particular website might not be secure because the S would mean that it's secure.
Yes. While HTTP is not secure because it doesn't have the S, but the one with the S in the end, it is secure. So there's no third party or anyone can easily monitor your device while you weren't aware of it.
All right, so in this particular diagram with the Cisco VPN routers, some of this problem, like I said, could stem from the fact that it's going into sites with HTTP and not HTTPS, right?
Yes, sir. Sometimes when you see the HTTP, that's always that's not really secure because who knows, hackers or scammers can easily see what you're doing, and they can easily, and if you try like they're probably ghosted as like a third party. They're probably like you don't know if they can see you or listening to your entire conversation with someone else.
Yeah. Has, has there been any resolution on the last show we did? We talked about the that bank. What was that bank? Fruist. Did I pronounce that right?
Say that again.
Remember the bank issue?
Yes.
Truist Bank.
Truist Bank, yeah.
Additional concerns with Truist Bank and all the situation that was going on with that.
There has that's besides not to mention I've also recently discovered there's been multiple social security numbers being used by someone. If someone uses HTTP without using HTTPS, that's one way, if some way people gain access to it, like for a job offer, or maybe like this, someone can easily know your social security without you even knowing. Like you may have.
Right.
Oh yes.
I want to. We have 3 minutes ago. I want to ask Sergeant Darnell if he might have anything to add to cybersecurity or breaches or just identity theft, anything of that nature.
Well, you're so over my head. I just try to watch everything I do, and I'm sure I still make stupid mistakes doing it. It's scary stuff. Just like I keep seeing online where people saying most or all social security numbers have just been stolen during a hack or whatever they do. Click here to see if yours was included. I'm not clicking it. I'm scared to click anything I don't know. I just try to stay away from things altogether. It's a whole lot safer.
You did the right thing because it could be fishy. If you touch it, it'll probably get hacked into your device, such as your phone or your laptop. And who knows, you might accidentally take a picture of your social security number, which I would just delete. So just in case it might get hacked.
Good
And
point.
then we have 2 minutes before we go to the break. So I'm going to ask our guests, Sergeant Darnell and Muhammad, when we go out to the break, we'll be back with a 10-minute segment. So I want to give Muhammad the opportunity to address a recent post that I saw. That's the U.S. concludes that Iran is behind hacking attempts targeting Trump and Biden-Harris campaigns. That was published August 19th, 2024, which was yesterday. So we got to the break and come back. I want to ask him if he might have some information on that for us. I printed out a document for myself, but he's virtual today. So I can say, I don't want to ask what the else I want to mention before I get to the break. Going back to the CIT training, I just learned a few moments ago that our studio engineer has also been a part of the CIT curriculum and training. He's been a part of it, the role playing, different things like that at Pitt Community College. So, it's a small world. But I'm glad to see even our civilians are getting involved with crisis intervention training. We have
Nice.
30 seconds before we go to the break. If anybody want to share anything, 30 seconds.
I've got something, but it's gonna take longer than that, so I'm not gonna say it yet.
All right, so with that being said, we have 20 seconds. So I want to just tell everybody, keep it locked right here to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, Christian Media with the spirit of excellence. Back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM, 1570 AM. Christian Media with the spirit of excellence.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking and staying, and welcome back. I want to go to Muhammad because he said he did have something to mention, but it would take longer than 20 seconds. I want to ask him now what that was.
All right. Be advised, if you have an Instagram account and someone asks you for help of how getting him his old Instagram account back, don't bother believing it, because he wants to ask you. He'll ask you for your phone number, and he wants your login to do it. But instead, he will just hack into your accounts and pull a sucker punch so he can gain access to your account and manipulate others, such as like crypto or money offer or anything to deceive people to get what they want. These guys happen every time. They'll try, and besides, I've also found a way to track people's phone numbers, but the problem is it's gonna cost people. You can track their phone numbers. One time when I tracked the guy's phone, I didn't pay it. I mean, I don't have to pay it because I only saw the location where he's calling from, and he's calling from he was calling from India. When I tracked his call, I told him, "Sir, I know you're not some guy offering money. Besides, I saw you live in India." When he heard that, he hung up on me. Because he got scared when I found out where he lives. A good thing he didn't tell me which address he lived, because otherwise I don't have that. Speaking of, I have another thing. As it's about the U.S. concluding of hacking of Trump and Biden campaign. Is that what you want me? Would you like me to speak about that? Well, U.S. concludes Iran is behind hacking attempts targeting Trump and Biden-Harris campaign the other day. The U.S. government has concluded Iran government is behind hacking and leak operating targeting Donald Trump's presidential campaign, and also attempted to target Biden's Harris his campaign. The FBI and the other U.S. intelligence agency said about this Monday. The FBI in recent days briefed the former president of their primarily findings after news organization reported receiving documents believed to have come from an account belonging to a senior Trump campaign official. Vice President Kamala Harris campaign has said the hackers were unsuccessful in their attempts against Biden-Harris campaign. The investigation marks the clearest sign of the efforts by Iran and other countries to try and to influence the 2024 election. U.S. official believes.
All right, we have 6 minutes to go before this particular segment, but I just want to go to the bottom of that sheet. It says the FBI has studied email records provided by Microsoft, Google, and AOL, and has spoken to Trump campaign personnel to determine who was responsible for the hack and who was responsible for the leak. The source said so. Not only are they talking about hacking, they talk about leaking information, which is why the FBI, I obtained the records from Microsoft, Google, and AOL. So I think this is pretty significant. Would you say that, Mohammed?
I'd say big time. Nothing it so
Anything on
far
that
every
subject?
devices or social media is not safe anymore.
Yeah. I want to know if Sergeant Darnell has anything to add to that.
Not really on that topic.
All right, thanks, Sergeant. Anyway, we have 5 minutes to go. Mohammed, do you have anything else? Because we can conclude this particular segment with whatever you have to offer on cybersecurity, because then we'll be back with our final 20 minutes.
Well, the Ironman hackers have also been targeting the email accounts of current U.S. officials and people associated with Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden researchers at Google. Well, last week, the FBI has briefed Trump that all signs point to Iran and responsibility for the hacking effort, and the hackers were able to breach Stone's email accounts. Sources familiar with the matter said. Trump said in publicity last week that the FBI was looking into the hack and that it looks like it's Iran. The story has been updated, additionally reported.
Yeah, I'm just looking for something on my phone real quick. If you got anything further. All right, give me a second.
Well, in the recent hacking operation the investigation believes that the suspected Ironman hackers in June breached each the personal email accounts of Longstone Trump ally and political operative Roger Stone, and then used the email accounts to try break into the accounts of senior Trump campaign official as part of his president effort to access campaign networks. CNN from That's what CNN says about it.
Okay, let me just ask Sarge real quick. We got 3 minutes to go before we go to the break. Sarge, I'm looking for a document that I thought I had printed out, and I know it's in my email. It's Coffee with the Cop. I want to know if the sheriff's office is involved with that. I believe that's at the coffee house in Waterville.
Absolutely. We have that coming up on September 10th from 9 in the morning until 11:30 that morning. It's going to be at Cooper's Cup in Winterville. It's there on Railroad Street across from the police department. It's a new place, only been there for a couple of months. I hadn't been in myself until this morning, and I went by, had an amazing cup of coffee, met the owner, the couple of young ladies working there, and had a piece of lemon pound cake to go with my coffee. And it's really nice in there. Have a bunch of vendors selling some very neat items. I'm going to have to try to keep my wife out of there, or there goes all my money. But it's a great location. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since we had a coffee event, Winterville and South, and so that's special. I hope people will really come out and interact with us. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I knew it was coming up September, so I'm glad I asked you that because I know I have the flyer on my computer, so I have to wait till I get home and then put that in my calendar, which I thought I did already. So that's September 10th.
September 10th from 9 until 11:30 at Cooper's Cup in Winterville. It's on the Sheriff's Office Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. If you need to refer to it later.
And I'm only right down the street from where that's located, so it starts at 9. I'll be there at 8:55. And I'm coming along. I'll be coming along somewhere. I'm going to spend my money. And well, since it's 9 in the morning, I usually drink about 2-3 cups of coffee in the morning, and I'm up at 2 a.m. every morning. So I guess this time I'll have to at least wait till 8:30 or 8:50, get dressed, get down there. I'm only 5 minutes away, and enjoy myself a nice cup of coffee And did you say pound cake?
There were all kinds of desserts in there. I went with the lemon pound cake. It was great. I'm ready to go back in there and try some more of the stuff. I'm not sure who made all that, but whoever it is, well done.
That lemon pound cake sounds wonderful. Maybe we also have some lemon meringue pie.
Mm.
But we have 50 seconds, 40 seconds now before we go to the next break. Then we'll be back with our final 20 minutes. And I wanted to ask Sergeant Darnell and Muhammad if they would like to discuss any further details, any upcoming events with the Sheriff's Office in Pitt County. So I'll do that for Sergeant Darnell. And if there's anything else going on with the Sheriff's Office in general. So ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked right here to Awesome Radio, the Police Report First Responder Show. Hopefully in the near future, we'll have a representative on to represent first responders as far as EMS, firefighters, stuff of that nature. So keep it locked right here to Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5, 1570 AM. Back in a moment.
Hello, my name is Tracy, and you're listening to Awesome Radio 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU Radio. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Our engineer just queued me up that there was going to be a short break, and it was so. I'm glad he gave me the signal. Else I would have been looking away. Sergeant Darnell laughing too. So I am so glad I was looking at him and just not looking somewhere else. So since this is our final 20 minutes of the broadcast today, I want to go back to our regular man of the hour here on the Police Report Show, and that's Sergeant Darnell, Pitt County Sheriff's Office.
I have a few things I can throw in here, Dr. Johnson. One of the first is it's not much notice, but the Sheriff's Office will be having an open house at our new building. It's a floating event, so just drop in, drop out at your convenience, but it will be on the 26th of next week from 11:30 until 3:30. And the new Sheriff's Office building will be located at the corner of Green Street and New Hope Road over near the jail. And so that's the 26th of next week, 11:30 to 3:30, and that's up on our social media pages right now as well. I just posted it during that last segment, as a matter of fact. So it's fresh news. We're going to be moving in the building. I've looked at it. It looks wonderful. I'm very thankful for the county for stepping up. I can't wait to get moved over there.
And with that being said, I did pass by the building by accident a couple of weeks ago because, you know, I'm a volunteer with the Sheriff's Office, and we had a meeting at the facility, at the government circle, and I somehow went the wrong way. And so when I got back to normal, I passed by the building by mistake. Now I have a question. So the Sheriff's Office, that's going to be the new location. My question is the communication center, because that is a large facility that's housed at the courthouse. That's a part of the current Sheriff's Office. Has that been moved yet, or is that going to be moved?
It will be relocating to the new building. It hasn't yet. It will. I don't know the exact timetable of when it moves, but we'll make that a smooth transition so calls aren't lost in the process, and we still talk to all of our cars, and we'll go up over there and go down here, and personnel ready to kick it in gear. That'll still be just a little bit further behind, I think, than the rest of us moving over there. So here shortly, if you come in to pick up a concealed weapon permit or to get fingerprinted, or if you're a sex offender needing to check in, or you need a report done, we're all going to be over there now instead of you having to park downtown, and that'll be kind of nice.
Yeah. And that location again is Green Street and we said Green and what?
New Hope Road. Our address is actually 100 New Hope Road.
Right. I'm going to be there. I got to check your post that you made. I want to get over there and see that new building. Anything else, Sarge?
Yeah, there's a couple more things. just we just had last week Blessing of the Badges annual event that the interfaith clergy of Pitt County does. They come together, all the clergy from different denominations, different religions come together, and law enforcement and fire and EMS, and we all just come together, a good time of fellowship, and let them pray over us and pray that we stay safe and do our jobs well. And it's always a special time. I really leave feeling uplifted. And if you're listening to this or watching it and you feel moved, we can always use your prayers. We need that. I, as a human, need that. But doing this for a living, that really means a lot to me as a Christian who to have your thoughts and that word of prayer, it's special.
And being a part of the Pitt County Sheriff's Office Volunteer Community Impact Division, I was supposed to be there that day to serve beverages, but I had to make an urgent call real early in the morning that I was unable to attend because I was diagnosed with the flu. So my apologies for not being able to attend, but I wanted to be there for the blessings of the badges, along with all the other clergy. So thanks so much for the mention that service.
Well, I'll meet you somewhere one morning soon and let you serve me a beverage. You can get me a coffee somewhere.
I guess you'll meet me at the Coffee with a Cop.
That sounds like a win.
I'll be there. Like I said, it starts at 9, open at 9. I'll be there at 8:55.
Nice.
What else, sorry?
The only other thing is the teachers are back in school now. God bless them. I don't see how they do it. That's a hard job. And the kids, some of them I think are back depending on the school, private schools or what have you. But the rest of the kids, Pitt County schools, go back first of next week. School buses are going to be on the road. Slow down, pay attention. If the lights are flashing, don't be passing. If the sign's out, kids are about. So really, I want another year with no injuries, no fatalities involving our children. They deserve the most protection, and we all have to work together to keep them safe.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Sarge, because I just want to mention one thing. And perhaps I shouldn't have did this, but I did do it. And that is, I'm on my way somewhere last week, and I'm going down County Home Road. And that Evergreen Elementary School, although it wasn't open, but the school zone amber lights were flashing as you coming down the road, and the posted speed limit is 35. Well, as I'm driving down, there's a truck in back of me flashing his lights, blowing his horn, and I had to be doing almost 45, 50 miles an hour, almost all the way up on my bumper, trying to get me to move out of the way so he can proceed through. And I did pull over in the center lane, put flashers on. But as it came safe for me to get back on the road, I got back on the road, and lo and behold, he pulled into the Pitt County Council on Aging, and I pulled right in there behind him. And that's the part where I said, I know I shouldn't do this, but I had to do it because my thought was, all right, the school's not open, but the amber lights are flashing and the posted speed limit is 35. He's on almost 50, 55 miles an hour. So I wanted to pull over to make contact with him and let him know that although the school wasn't open, he's still supposed to observe the posted speed limit. And plus the amber lights were flashing because the school might not be open, but you never know if there's a child in the area. It might just run out into the street. So I know I had no authority and I didn't pull him over, so to speak, like a police officer or deputy. I just wanted to get his attention to let him know that although the school was closed, the posted speed limit is 35 and the amber lights was flashing. So he should have maintained the speed limit just to be safe for everybody. Do you think I did the right thing, Sarge?
I have no doubt in your heart you did the right thing because you cared and wanted to to let him know. But I have to caution people, you see something, be a good witness. Don't approach them. Don't try to bring it to their attention, because a lot of disputes happen, and road rage and people snapping. And if something would have happened to you, my friend, it would have messed me up. And
That's why
I'm glad nothing did.
And that's why I said such shouldn't have did that, because in my car, the phone is in my car. My phone shows up on my screen, and right beyond. So with my phone being visible, I could just hit the one button for the sheriff's office communications, and I would have used my call number, which is CP4, and advised them of the situations, which is what I should have done. Thanks for mentioning that, Sarge. Mama, you have anything at this time?
Well, I have keep receiving a lot of annoying emails about money offers, which I have no idea, which I did not accept. Seriously, it's getting really annoying. The only reason that these got your email or phone number is only probably because of data breaches these days. If they keep going, they will not stop. They won't stop until they get what you want from you. One time I got a call. It says I'm in second place earning $2.5 million. I said, "Oh, really? Well, guess what? Stop scamming me. That's a far lie. If you're trying to scam someone, make it more believable." And I hung up on him and blocked him.
Yeah, now what I'm saying is about identity theft. The person that said this was joking at the time, and it was actually a female. She said, "I don't worry about identity theft." She said, "My credit is so bad. I owe the Girl Scout money for cookie. They got a spot on my credit report." She said, "I owe a renter center for a DVD. So my credit is so bad. If you steal my identity, the first place you're going to is jail." I know she said that as a joke, but that is true. You don't want to steal anybody's identity if their credit is bad. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
My identity should be safe.
But regardless of bad credit or not, you still have to protect your ID and your identification. So, by all means, like Muhammad mentioned earlier, some social security numbers were stolen, different things like that. I had that happen to me one time, and it went through the Pitt County court system, and ultimately, the person involved was sentenced to a long-term inpatient drug rehabilitation center in Texas. They sent her to Texas from Pitt County because I don't want to get into all the details of it, but how she got it was I had met her and she got in my truck at the time. When she got out of the truck, so did my wallet, which was laying on the passenger seat, because I had just left Walmart and just threw that wallet on the front passenger seat. I had an old Social Security card in there with my bank, a debit card, and so she figured out the last four numbers of my Social Security number was my PIN number, and she won a ATM spree, shopping spree, all around Pitt County. Luckily for me, Greenville PD had it all captured on video at the various locations that she went to. So, by all means, protect your identity. If you have a Social Security card, make sure you have nowhere where somebody can get to it. Make sure it's out of arm's reach. Muhammad?
I do have a question. How do we know if someone's using our social security number?
That is a good question.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one either. I've always heard that you should have like an alert or something on your credit reports. You can even freeze your credit so new accounts can't be taken out in your name. And things like that is a great way of protecting your identity and at least alerting you if something does happen. Beyond that, I don't.
Oh, I was going to say, do they send you mail or something as a just in case?
I don't know.
It's scary. It's a scary world now.
It is. And just when you think you've seen it all, they come up with a whole new way of taking it up a notch, and
That's right.
it is scary.
Well,
I hope that mine isn't taken. I
we'll
mean,
have
I
six
just hope
minutes.
because I do not want to feel like it is.
Right.
We'll have 6 minutes to go for this particular segment. But one thing I want to mention about the Social Security number,
You're echoing.
the military,
Uh,
they used to use your last four numbers for various things. They even stopped doing that now. They would not ask you for the last four year numbers of your Social Security number because they know with the last four numbers they can access certain information about you. So there's other agencies. So nobody asks for the last four numbers of your Social Security number anymore. And also, I found out that you go to a doctor's office or a hospital, and they're not, they don't have any obligation to ask for your Social Security number as well. There should be nowhere on your medical chart at the doctor's office or hospital. They should not ask you for your Social Security number. We have 5 minutes to go before we conclude today's broadcast. Mohammed.
Well, I'm not sure what I can think of, but all I can say is the years may have changed, but it's not in a good way. Think about it: the scammers, hackers, crimes is increasing these past days or past year as well. I mean, like, think about it. We don't know how scammers or how anyone stole if they got our social security numbers, but if they already did, they have other ways of obtaining it.
That's right. We have 4 minutes before we conclude today's broadcast. So, with that being said, I would like to give those 4 minutes to Sergeant Darnell, which will conclude today's broadcast. And as I mentioned earlier, perhaps we can have somebody from the EMT, fire, rescue services on the next police report show, along with Sergeant Darnell. And I know they have a new chief or deputy chief at ECU, so perhaps we can have one of them on as well. So, for the last remaining 4 minutes, I'm going to give it to Sergeant Darnell.
Great. Well, I'll just bounce right off of the identity theft and say, even the sheriff's office has our identity stolen. Uh, People are still calling around, scammers, going, hey, we're so-and-so from the sheriff's office, Pitt County Sheriff's Office. And, they can do a Google search and look through our social media. They can look through news articles, and they come up with real deputy names. It may be me supposedly calling you next. And they'll call and say, I'm Sergeant so-and-so with Pitt County Sheriff's Office, and you missed jury duty. And I'm going to have to either take you to jail or collect this money. And it's a scam. And now they're even spoofing the telephone number where it'll pop up on your phone showing our office number here at the courthouse, or it'll say Pitt County Sheriff's Office on your phone, and claiming to be us, showing your phone that it's us, but it's not us. And when you're like, I don't know if this is real or not, they start pressuring you. Well, never mind. We'll just come on down there and we'll arrest you and you can settle in court. And they'll start hammering you until you're scared not to do something. Walk away from this. If nothing else, say, okay, what's your name? Hang up and look up our number, call the sheriff's office and say, did Deputy so-and-so just call me? And 10 times out of 10 will say, no. If you've got a warrant, we will not call you. We are going to show up and take you to jail. And without a doubt, you will go to jail. So there's no buying your way out of it. If you try, you'll go to jail with more charges. So it's a scam. Please, you work hard for your money. Keep it.
Yeah. I don't know why in the world somebody would think if somebody had a warrant, you're going to get a phone call from the sheriff's office or the police department. That doesn't make any sense at all. We are down to our final 2 minutes of today's broadcast, which will end today's broadcast. I'm going to let Sergeant take it away for a minute and a half.
Wow, a whole minute and a half. Geez. Crime Stoppers back behind me. We are still going strong. We've spent about $5,000 in rewards this year. So if you know something, get a hold of us. It's anonymous. You can get cash rewards, and you can make a difference in keeping Pitt County safer. So we need the teammates out there. It's anonymous, private company. Crime Stoppers is. So 252-758-7777 or crimestopper.org.
And sorry, we got a minute and 20 seconds. I think I did see a post on Facebook, Sheriff's Office page. I think they're hiring deputies and detention center officers.
And we're always hiring, looking for court officers. We may have a couple more positions I've heard about recently that may pop up. So we're always looking for good people with integrity who can pass a background check and wants to be a part of something good going on in the community. And there's nothing like it.
That is absolutely fabulous. And with that being said, I want to thank Sergeant Darnell and Muhammad for joining us today on this Police Report First Responder Show. And as I said in closing, we'll have other topics, other discussions, other representatives as we proceed through the year. So please stick and stay and join us as we progress through the year here on Awesome Radio, WECU. This has been another episode or broadcast of the Police Report First Responder Show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. God bless you. God love you. And may the Lord take a liking to you. Thank you so much. Awesome Radio, WECU, 107.5 FM. Thank you.